Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about spelling. And I felt it was important because a lot of people are mentioning this topic as well. When I look in my inbox and my messages, nearly every message has a misspelled word in it. So it's ubiquitous. This problem is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous is a fancy word for everywhere. I'm also guilty of this at times, but not because I don't know how to spell the word, but because I go too quickly. So none of us is immune to this problem, but I know for a lot of you, you don't know how to spell some of these words. So we're going to look at a few rules and we're going to have some exercises that you can exercise, improve this area of English, because at the worst, misspelling can cause misunderstanding. At the very least, misspelled words can create a poor impression on your reader. So what we want to do is try to spell words correctly as they were intended to be spelled. So let's begin. I'm very excited about this live today. It's the first time we've talked about this topic. The aim of the live is to practice spelling. We're going to do in-class practice. It's interactive. You will take part in it if you choose to. So grab a pencil and paper or on your phone, be prepared to write the correct words. And then finally, the second aim is to learn a few helpful spelling rules. We're going to look at 5 issues or rules dealing with spelling in English. What's the methodology employed? It's that we include all learners on every page. So there'll be some easy words, some moderately difficult, and today there will be some difficult words. I doubt that anyone will get 100%. There are, I think 14, if I'm not mistaken, 14 questions. I don't think anyone will get 14. There are a few tricky ones, but maybe there will be. Let's see. And then answers to the spelling examples will follow on the next slide. So we'll have 2 sentences, and then we'll give the answers on the next slide. So you will immediately know how you're doing. So what are the instructions? There are 2 spelling errors per sentence. You have to locate them and write them correctly. And I will give you a few minutes. Don't worry. I will give you time to think about it. Of course, you can look them up, but that sort of defeats the purpose. But you can check. I will give you the answers, though, eventually. All right. Are you ready? Let's begin. So get something ready to write with. So here we go. Now, I forgot to mention that these 7 sentences form a story, and you are going to have to tell me at the end of this exercise, where am I? What area or region, famous region of the world am I? So we're going to play a similar game, sort of a second level game. In addition to the spelling, you're going to have to then understand the sentences and tell me where we are. What location am I describing? Should be very interesting. All right, here we go. The first sentences. I'm going to say the sentences, and then you'll have a few minutes to identify the spelling mistakes and correct them. So sentence number 1, most archaeologists believe that this area was constructed between 1438 and 1472. It is often mistakenly referred to as the lost city of the Incas. 2 spelling mistakes per sentence. So on this page, there are 4. Take a few moments and then I'll give you the answers. All right, about 30 more seconds. I hope that's enough. I'm going to turn the comments on. No, I'll leave them off. All right, I'm going to give you the answers. Now, if I'm going too quickly, write me a note at the bottom. There's that question button, press it. Write me and say slow down. So here we go. Here are the answers to page 1. Many archaeologists between mistakenly L-Y, not L-E-Y, and city, T-Y, not T-E-Y. So archaeologists, at the end, it's just an S, not an E-S. Between, we need 2 E's, a double E in the middle. And then we have mistakenly L-Y and city with a Y. All right, I hope you did well. Are you ready for page number 2? Let me just check if I went too quickly. Did I go too quickly? Let's see if anyone, slow down. Someone has said slow down. So I will slow down a little bit. All right, here we go, page 2. I will read them and then you have some time. The Incas quit the region after the arrival of Spain. Centuries later, the area became known internationally. Again, 2 mistakes per sentence, 4 total on this page. Try to find them and correct the spelling. I'll give you a minute or so. All right, I'm going to move to the answers now. I'm sorry if you didn't quite get enough time. Let's see how we did. Again, we're looking for 4. All right, I will show it now. The Incas quit the region after the arrival of Spain. Centuries later, IES, arrival is AL at the end. This area became known internationally, TION. All right, I wonder how we did. Let me know. It looks like you guys are doing really well. Maybe I need to make this more difficult. Maybe it's too easy. Let me know in the comments, maybe in a direct message later if this was too easy or not, or too difficult or just about right. Also, if you think one of your friends or your friends would enjoy this, share this live on your Instagram. Tell your friends about this live and about all the others. Here we go. Part or page 3. Go. There are 3 sentences. I'm going to give you extra time. I'm going to read all 3, and you're looking for 6 misspelled words, 2 per sentence. This area was built in the classical Inca style with dry stone walls. In 1983, this region was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And finally, in 2017, more than 1.4 million tourists visited the site. For those who came late, we're doing a spelling exercise and we're looking for 2 spelling errors per sentence, and you have to identify them and then spell them correctly. This is the most difficult page. I suspect most of us might, it will be more challenging, this page. Let's try it. I'll give you 30 more seconds. All right, I'm going to move to the answers, so here we go. Here are the answers to page 3. Uh-oh, that's the wrong page. That's the previous page. Let's look at page 3. Here we go. This area was built in the classical Inca style with dry stone walls, S at the end. In 1983, this region, without an E, and the World Heritage Site, might be tricky, that one, in 2017, more than 1.4 million. Now this is the tricky one, million. It's actually not ES, it's not even S, it's million, and that's also a grammar issue. So million tourists. So those the last 2 might have been difficult. The last 3 might have been difficult. I'm curious to see how you did. We'll go to the questions and I'll look at some of your comments in a moment. But I'd like to do something I think that's very important. Well, before we do that, where am I? I'm going to turn on the comments. Tell me where I am. What area of the world have I been describing? Where does anyone have a name? I've turned the comments on so you can guess. Okay, Mary said it was easy, so I have to make this more difficult. Thank you, Mary. I will make it more. Yeah, give me feedback on how difficult or easy it was. I sense that we did a good job here, and so maybe I have to make it more difficult. All right, it's easy. Does anyone know where this is? All right, lots of easy. All right, I will make it more difficult next time, I promise. All right, does anyone know where this is? No? No? So I will tell you, I haven't heard it yet. No. Mexico's getting close, but it is... Are you ready? Has anyone ever heard of this old site, Machu Picchu in Peru? It's an old Inca. The Incas are these native peoples who occupied this area prior to the Spanish conquest or invasion. All right, so I'm seeing that a lot of us, this is in Peru, South America. I'm seeing that a lot of us found it easy. So I will make the next listening, the next spelling will be more difficult. So, all right, I'm gonna close the comments for just a moment. And I'm now going to move to rules because I think it's quite important just for a moment to understand some of the spelling rules. So we're going to just very quickly look at spelling rules, and hopefully you will begin then to apply what you've learned today onto a more broader canvas. First of all, preliminary spelling rules. Every word has at least one vowel, A, E, I, O, U, or Y. Secondly, every syllable has one vowel. So these are, even when you break it down, you have to break it down through syllables. All right, now let's go into some of the specific rules that we looked at. All right, words that begin with Q always follow with a U. It's always a U. Now, if you play Scrabble, this word game, you'll know that some words don't. But any normal word that you will ever use in conversation begins with a Q. If it begins with a Q, it's followed with a U. So we have quit. So the misspelled was quit. The correct spelling is Q-U-I-T. But then we have a lot of others. Quick, quiet, quack, a duck quacks, and then we have queen. Now, I probably should go back for a moment. I didn't actually think about this, but I might want to explain a few of these spelling issues. One of them might confuse some of the new learners, and that's the difference between then, T-H-E-N, and than here, T-H-A-N. And so for those who aren't familiar, I know a lot of you are familiar, but for those who aren't, T-H-E-N deals with, it deals with episodes. It's an episodic sort of marker. This happened, then that. So it deals with time. So I did this first, then I did this. Now than, T-H-A-N, is normally associated with comparisons. More than. So something is more than this. So more than, in this case, 1.4 million. So than, T-H-A-N, generally deals with the comparative sort of feature in English. All right, I hope that's clear. We can do a few others. Let me go through some of the other rules so we know the QU rule. Now we've just done that. Let's go to the next one. And that's L-Y. We had mistakenly, L-E-Y, and in general, if you're moving from an adjective, like mistaken is an adjective, I was mistaken, to mistakenly, which is an adverb, it wrote that mistakenly. I was mistakenly given this information. Then if the adjective ends in a consonant, like here we have an N, it's the adjective mistaken, it ends in a consonant. The adverb is generally always L-Y. So that's a basic rule that you can hang your hat on. When I say hang your hat on, it's an idiom that means you can depend on it. All right, now we're going to go to another rule, which is, there's a lot here. Y in the singular to IES. Now let me explain, because these rules are fixed and generally you can rely on them. You can hang your hat on them. The rule is the following. If the word has a vowel plus a Y, like key or holiday, then the plural just takes an S. Keys, holidays. We have a plural E, Y, E and then Y, and then we have a plural A and holiday, then Y. You just add an S. However, if that penultimate, which is second to last letter, is a consonant, like here we have in century, we have R plus Y, then you drop the Y and add IES. So that penultimate or second to last letter determines how you spell the plural. So we have century to centuries, IES. Emergency becomes emergencies, IES. Embassy becomes embassies, IES. All right, I hope that is clear. Let's move to another rule. We've got 2 or 3 more here. Hopefully will be of benefit. All right, another rule that you can sort of rely on, and I want to mention that I tried to select rules that have few exceptions, because the reason English spelling is so difficult is it's not basically a phonetic language. No language is perfectly phonetic, but German, Russian, many of these languages are. French is not, obviously, but in that they don't sound, or they do sound, most of the letters in the word. English obviously doesn't always function like that. And so we have here, so what I've tried to do is select spelling rules that don't have a lot of exceptions. Because if they have a lot of exceptions, then the rule isn't very strong and you can't really rely on it. So here we have double consonants. If you have a double consonant and you move to a plural, it generally takes an S. Wall, to walls, bluff to bluffs, hill to hills. So a double consonant at the end, you can almost be assured that it will take just an S. All right, finally, we have a bugaboo here, a real difficulty. This is the Achilles heel, one of many Achilles heel. Now in English, if you use the term Achilles heel, that means a real difficulty, a real obstacle that's difficult to overcome. So one of the Achilles heel in spelling, for spelling in English, are the homophones, or the homophones. It's because you have similar sounds. The words are they're pronounced the same, but they're completely different. So in this example earlier, we had a homophone. Sight, your vision, and the UNESCO site, S-I-T-E, which is a place or a location. But what's even more troubling for the learner of English is that we have a third site, C-I-T-E, which is a book reference or an academic reference in general, not always a book, but it's a reference, normally in an academic setting. So we have sight, sight, and sight. And to determine or distinguish which one is needed, obviously we rely on the context. Now, these unfortunately aren't the only homophones. We have a few others. New. So my shoes are new. I bought them yesterday. I knew that. So no, I know it, I knew it. And dye. Dye is to color something, D-Y-E. And of course, die, D-I-E, is to no longer live. So these are homophones, and this is what makes English a little bit difficult in terms of spelling. All right, let's just review all right, we're at the conclusion, and then I'll hear from you if you have any questions. I have two concluding slides. I want to make 2 points, and then we're free. I want to just go through the list of misspelled words that are now correctly spelled so we can sort of reinforce what the correct spelling is. Sometimes if we are only exposed equally to the misspelled and spelled and the properly spelled word, sometimes we revert back to the misspelled. So let's reinforce the correct spelling by going through them all one more time. Region, you can repeat after me. Sight, than, it should be million, not millions, excuse me. In the example, it was million. Although if it was plural, it would be millions with just an S, not ES. Centuries, internationally, was, walls, archaeologists, between, mistakenly, city, quit, not quite. Quite requires an E at the end. And quiet requires an E just before the T. This is quit. Now, I'm going to go back to and finally, arrival. Now, I want to go back to one slide I used that I think you might need some sort of explanation on why we used it. Now, if you look here, the Incas quit the region. This is a very sort of academic or literary use of this. I could have said the Incas left the region, they departed, but I used quit, and you can also use quit. I think the British use quit more than the Americans. I might be mistaken there, but quit means to leave. If you quit, you can quit a job, you can quit the team, but you can also quit the region or quit the area. Means they left. And so that's an extended, more of an academic or formal use of the word quit, but I think it's quite interesting. And finally, just as a review of the 5 rules that we looked at, Q-U, L-Y, Y converted in the plural to I-E-S, with a consonant before the Y, then you can make that conversion. And then double consonants require an S in the plural form. And just to be aware that homophones are troubling and that we just have to be patient and go through them and rely on context to determine which one is being used. All right. Of course, when you're speaking, when you're reading, then you can see the difference in the spelling.